This week we're going to look into new and emerging technologies. So you're going to investigate what an emerging technology is. Now, for your success criteria is you need to understand what new and emerging technologies are, understand the types, and investigate and create a profile explaining a new and emerging technology. So what are emerging technologies? Well, emerging technologies is a term generally used to describe simply a new technology. But this technology may still be in development. So it may be available, but it could be very expensive, not widely available, because it's still developing and it's getting better. So it might be one of those things that you look at and say, oh yes, in 2 years, that will be amazing. So a current technology basically is a technology that is widely used and is available on the market and is part of our everyday lives. So for example, like your smartphone, your iPad, they're all current technologies. But one time they were emerging and not many people had them. And there may have been certain flaws in the designs. So like, for example, I remember when the first iPad came onto the market, and people that had it said it was great, but it'd be better if there was a camera. Now that is a feature that is available on every iPad. So as I said, these emerging technologies will still have design flaws that need to be worked on. Like they could be too big, they could be too heavy, maybe the battery life isn't very good and they take several hours to recharge. They could be just simply unreliable at the moment, and maybe the graphics are not that good, and so on and so forth. So what we're going to look into is what types of emerging technology there are. So there is artificial intelligence, and this is when a computer appears as if it has intelligence, like it can make decisions based on human interaction. So, and they're basically designed to simulate human intelligence, but they don't have empathy or conversation like a human would, and they can't really make decisions based on what a human would. They're only programmed, they're robots. So one of these could be computers where you compete against other humans in video games. Now, there was a game developed called Deep Blue, and Deep Blue actually defeated the world chess champion in 1997. So this computer was so fast, and well, this game was so fast and so intelligent that the world chess champion at the time couldn't beat it. It could not beat the computer. Google Translate or any other translators. Okay, so the computer is programmed to understand human language as it's spoken or as it's written and translate it into another language. Then there are computers that are designed to make decisions based on the information that's given to them. So, for example, one of these could be an expert system. Now, an expert system would take the information that you give it and it would make a decision and try and solve your problem. So, for example, one of those could be a computer that diagnoses an illness. Okay? Now, the impacts has on our AI has in our everyday lives. Okay, so AI is around us all the time, and it does have an impact on our everyday lives. So, for example, weather prediction. Using the data in the past and the data from, that is currently given, it can predict the weather and what the weather will be in the next hour. Robot vacuum cleaners. So we have more leisure time. Now, robot vacuum cleaners isn't the only one by any stretch of the imagination, but there's lots of technology out there that increases our leisure time. So, for example, a slow cooker would. So the idea is you can put all the ingredients in, then when you come home, your dinner's already cooked. The same as you don't need to clean your own floors because you have a robot to do it for you, so that gives you more time to do other things. Safer transport. Okay, so this is a DLR train, so Docklands Light Railway, and these operate in East London. Okay, now these trains do not have a driver, so you can actually sit right here in the front of these trains, like as if you're driving it. So what actually drives these trains is a computer. They self-drive. And more personal safety, because we have robots, artificial intelligence, that will guard our home, like a burglar alarm. And robot surgery. So now robots are being developed to perform surgery on a human. Now, some of these robots have become so precise that they actually got one robot to peel a grape and then stitch it back up again. Okay? So, maybe there would be no such thing as a human surgeon anymore. Some surgeries take hours and hours, okay? And humans obviously get tired, but the robots won't. Now, what types of emerging technologies are there? Okay, so we're going to look at biometrics now. So biometrics can scan your eyes, and they simply analyze the iris. They can have impressions of your fingerprint or your thumbprint and match these in a database. Facial recognition, so they analyze parts of the face. So, for example, there's points of your face that will never ever change, obviously, unless you've got involved in a very unfortunate accident or a disfiguring illness. Like, for example, the distance between your eyes, that never changes throughout your entire life. And then we've got voice recognition. Now, the voice recognition doesn't recognize your voice. It recognizes the pitch, the tone, and the frequency of your voice. Now, why do we use all these? Well, they replace passwords. Okay, so they're far more secure. Obviously, passwords will be forgotten. Swipe cards are forgotten or lost or get broken. But obviously, these things don't. So the impacts biometrics has on our everyday lives. Now, you have biometrics in your passport. Okay, so when you go to some countries, such as London, like London Stansted Airport, you've got these gates. And then what you do is your passport will be recognised, so it matches your face with the passport, and then you go through the gates. Fingerprints to get into buildings, for example, has made things far more secure. So there's no way you can enter a building unless your fingerprint is registered. Car theft. Okay, so we have more secure buildings, now we've got more secure cars. Car theft has been reduced as a result of biometrics. So rather than someone's car keys being stolen or someone's car keys being copied, the car keys actually have microchips in them. And even if your car, so for example, at one point there was a lot of carjacking. So that is when you're in a car, someone threatens you to get out of the car and they take your car. But with the biometrics, if somebody does drive off of your car, after a certain distance, the car will completely stop. Okay? And better mobile phone security, because at one point mobile phone security was a massive problem, but now because mobile phones are activated using facial recognition or voice recognition or your fingerprint, it makes it difficult for your phone to be used by somebody else. So robotics. Now robotics are designed to perform the task that a human would usually perform. So in industry, robots are automated to perform certain tasks that humans were once paid to do. So such as manufacturing robots, carrier robots, domestic robots, and exploration robots. So what impacts do they have on our everyday lives? Well, rather than sending humans up into space, which is obviously incredibly dangerous and very lonely, robots are actually designed and they're put up into space, and they can, for example, explore Mars. So that would be the Mars Explorer. But this robot here, which is similar, actually is used to defuse bombs. Now, one time, humans would have been defusing bombs, okay? But now we can send a robot to do it. So if a bomb does explode, no human lives are at stake. So they're saving our lives. This is the Mars rover, as I explained to you earlier. So this is a robot that is controlled by NASA, and it's actually on Mars, and it's exploring Mars. In the manufacturing industry, As I said, one time there would have been a line of humans doing different jobs. Now there's robots. So these are actually labour saving as well as money saving. So these robots are creating cars for us, creating all sorts of things, and they're programmed to do so, and they can work much faster in dangerous and, not very nice conditions rather than humans. Robots are also designed to lift heavy items that would be considered far too heavy and dangerous for a human to carry. So now we get robots to do them for us. Right, so your task today. So you're going to choose one of these technologies. So the 4-dimensional printer. We have 3D printers. Now they're working on 4-dimensional printing. And this is used in a construction industry. A domed city. This is an architecture project in Dubai where they're going to make a shopping centre of the world, apparently. So take a look at the domed city and compare how big this domed city would be in comparison to the size of Gran Canaria. Ultra high definition, which is available for us, but at the moment there's problems that it's not used in our everyday lives. Why is that? The artificial brain. What is the artificial brain? What is its purpose? Why do we need it? What is it there for? And Li-Fi. Okay, so we've got Wi-Fi. Now they want to try and bring Wi-Fi signals through light. Now, what you're going to do is on a Google Doc, for example, I would like you to try and find an image of this technology, explain what this technology does, no copying and pasting. So you can look up websites for this, you can look up videos, it's entirely up to you. News articles, I don't mind. How will it change lives? Okay, so how's it going to make our lives different? What are the advantages of it? But what are the disadvantages? Okay, so that's your project to be doing today. Thank you.